Do you need a preschool curriculum or not? Let's talk about it. Hi, I am Rachel from 7 and All. If you find yourself asking this question in certain sorts of homeschool circles and homeschool groups online, you will often hear a resounding answer of no. Don't waste your money, don't stress yourself out, just let your little one be little. You don't need a preschool curriculum. I feel like the question though deserves a more nuanced answer, and I think it deserves consideration. So let's talk about some considerations to think about if you're considering, do you need a preschool curriculum for your 3 or your 4-year-old, or do you genuinely not need one? First of all, let's talk about you. Because I actually think that you as a homeschool mom are a bigger consideration in whether or not a homeschool curriculum will be a helpful tool for you. You're a bigger consideration than your preschooler is at this point. So let's talk about you. You need to be able to assess whether having a homeschool curriculum for your young child is going to be helpful to you or if it's going to be unhelpful to you. So you should ask yourself, what do you thrive with? Do you already thrive with including your toddler in the work of your day, going throughout your day, keeping them safe, occupied, happy, not getting into too dangerous or too disastrous of messes? Do you thrive with that? Or, another one, do you thrive with diving into Pinterest and coming up with your own DIY activities or pulling different printables from different areas to create your own free studies on special themes that your child is interested? Do you really enjoy that process of coming up with your own crafts, and do you have a lot of resources to pull from that you can just pull things together and make it your own and have a lot of fun with that? Because often the answer to, do I need a preschool curriculum, is no, don't waste your money. Just use Pinterest for activity ideas and just use free printables. A lot of times that's the answer. So if you thrive with that, if that's something that makes your heart sing, then you probably won't need a preschool curriculum. If that's something that you really enjoy, if you enjoy opening up Pinterest and gathering all your own ideas. However, this is where knowing yourself and what you thrive with really comes into play. I will just let you know, I do not thrive with that life. I am very good at including my toddlers, my young children, in the work of my day. However, housework doesn't actually take me that long. Cooking, cleaning doesn't actually take all that long. It's not a huge portion of my day. So as a stay-at-home mom with young children who doesn't have a car, so we literally do stay at home quite a bit, we have very long days with a lot of space to fill in them. And I don't necessarily like having the mental load of trying to come up with or pull together and invent all of my own activities and all of my own themes, or what book should I read next. All of those ideas. That's not something I thrive with. I much prefer being able to open up a curriculum book and say, hey, do this next thing on the list, versus opening up Pinterest and being faced with 300 blog posts with 30 ideas each on fun fall themes for different activities with your toddler. I like reducing my own decision making that I have to make throughout the day. I thrive with reducing the mental load and being able to open the curriculum and say, yeah, I like that idea. Let's do that next idea. Or look at the curriculum and say, I don't have any of the things needed to do that next idea, so we're gonna skip that, move on to the next thing. So for me, it's really knowing myself and knowing what I thrive with that allows me to say, for me, curriculum is a very helpful tool. It reduces my mental load. It helps me make sure that I'm filling the days productively instead of just defaulting to sending them outside to play with water every day. They still pretty much do play with water outside every day, but you know, they can't do that for 6 hours every day. Another aspect of knowing yourself is consider how naturally it comes to you to have all those big teachable conversations, teachable moments. And to all of us, this will come naturally to us to a greater or lesser extent. I tend to be someone who naturally has those teachable conversations, teachable moments over more the big ideas, the character issues, relationship issues about God, Bible. Those are very big passions of mine, and those are things that I will naturally bring into conversation with my kids. However, when I'm baking muffins with them, and we love to bake muffins, but when I'm baking muffins with them, I don't naturally tend to be the person who's like, okay, let's count how many cups of flour we put in. 1, 2, 3. I don't tend to be like, oh, look at what this says this is a half a cup. That is a 1 and a 2. I don't tend to be the person who's like naturally having conversations about math. I don't tend to be the person who's like, oh, look at that letter. That's just not how my brain is wired. I just want to bake. I want to have fun. I want to bake. I want to eat delicious muffins. When I'm doing different activities with my kids, I don't tend to be that person that naturally brings in more academic subjects. So because I know that about myself, I just know, hey, I prefer to have some school time when we work on numbers and when we work on letters. Now, does this mean that they don't learn anything about math while they're baking? No, I'm not saying that. Kids learn like crazy. They learn constantly. However, knowing myself as a teacher, I just don't prefer to use that as a teaching moment. I prefer to use that as a baking moment. I don't like to use making pasta and all these different things for math. I just prefer to use a math book. So it's knowing myself that helps me to know when curriculum is a good choice for me to invest in. Besides knowing yourself, another consideration is your family's schedule and your family's dynamics. When it comes to schedule, what do your days look like? And that's going to be very different. Some people are on the go and out of the house. Some people are extroverted. They have a lot going on, or you might be working outside the house. You might have a lot of external activities, medical therapies. You might have family going in different directions at different times throughout the week. And in those situations, maybe it just isn't so realistic to have a preschool time slot in a very busy schedule. However, my schedule is very open. I have long days with my husband being gone, and I'm at home with my boys. I want to fill that time usefully. I want to fill that time intentionally and to really be present with them, because as a mom, I can get definitely sucked away into, hey, let's wipe the baseboards today, or let's do some random house cleaning project that isn't really as fun as doing a painting project or doing a craft with them. So having the curriculum to tell me, hey, take some time to have fun with your kids, actually helps me to do it better. So that's something that you should consider your schedule and how you and your family interact with your schedule. Another thing to consider is your family's dynamics. Maybe your preschooler is your oldest child and you haven't really built up much of a book collection at home yet. We did not have many books when we only had a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old. It's taken time to build up that collection, and I've used literature-based curriculums to build our collection of books that we can read at home. Maybe your preschooler is your middle or your youngest child out of many children, and you're kind of feeling like, I wish I had more quality, just face-to-face, one-on-one time with them. Sometimes having a preschool routine can be the best way to get that one-on-one time of, hey, mama's gonna be paying focused attention to me right now, to the preschooler right now. This gives us something that is just special for us, that isn't so much with all the other big personalities in the house taking over. These are considerations of when it might be a good thing to have that preschool curriculum and that preschool routine. But there could be different family dynamics where it's not so helpful. So you need to consider yours. Finally, you need to consider your preschooler as well. Will your preschooler sit down and listen to a book at all? Will they focus or engage with a book at all? Will they sing a song if you invite them to sing a song? Will they repeat a phrase that you ask them to repeat? Will they do any sort of activity that involves following instructions? Can you tell that I have some experience with some very free-spirited small children? Because I do. Whether your answer to those questions is, oh yes, of course, my 3-year-old loves to sit and listen to picture books. My 3-year-old will sing. My 3-year-old will follow instructions for just about any sort of activity. Yes, they can. Or whether it's, no, they really cannot. They cannot sit down and listen to a book. They will not follow instructions. If I set up an activity, it's never going to go how it goes. If we try to play a game, they do not follow the instructions of that game. Either way, I actually think having some small doses of preschool can actually be very helpful. For your more cooperative child, they're probably going to thrive with it and really enjoy gentle preschool activities. For your very free-spirited child, starting gently, starting in very small doses, is going to help build habits and foundational skills that will benefit them for a lifetime of, hey, you know, there's times in life when we do have to follow instructions, and following instructions really helps. But we can start with micro doses of it that we can slowly build up the muscle of being able to say, hey, I can be calm. Hey, I can follow an instruction. Just one. Maybe someday we'll work up to 2. Whichever kind of personality you find yourself raising, because we don't choose, right? They are their own personalities from birth. Whichever type of personality, I actually think that having little habits, little preschool curriculums and routines can be helpful. However, it is going to look different, and the way that you enact preschool and the expectations that you have are going to look different. With your very strong free spirits, maybe you're not going to be focusing on actually mastering any letters of the alphabet yet. We're just going to be mastering, hey, can we follow an instruction? Could we sing a song when we're asked to sing a song? These little ideas of making room for other people's ideas other than their own. So these are all the things I invite you to consider. I invite you to consider yourself as the mom and as the homeschool teacher. You are a very big and very important part of your homeschool. And I want you to think, will curriculum be a useful tool for you, or will you thrive without it? I want you to consider your schedule and your family dynamics and think about whether curriculum will be useful within those real life constraints. And I also want you to consider your preschooler and what their heart and their character need the most right now. I do often get asked for some of my preschool curriculum recommendations. If you are in the market, I have a couple of favorites, one being purely preschool units. This is my favorite for the very basic beginning of homeschool, with probably the younger or more uncooperative preschooler. This is a very practical, very minimal approach to preschool, just really building the foundation of, hey, let's try to do some intentional themed learning together. So purely preschool units are a recommendation. Also, I like the Sunlight Preschool program, especially the one for 3s and 4s. It's just, it's mainly a big stack of books. They are a stack of great books that you will read and read and read and reread hundreds of times over the years to come. When you have a preschooler who is a little bit more cooperative or getting a little bit older, able to repeat things when asked to repeat, able to do some memory work and follow instructions to create handicrafts, I really like gentle and classical preschool. I've used that with both of my sons and just have found it to be a delightful program. I will link to all of those down below so that you can check them out for yourself, and I also have other videos on all of those programs. All right, I hope that this video was helpful and got your gears turning on whether or not preschool curriculum might be a good fit for you and your preschooler or not. I'll be seeing you. Bye.